with the championship banner high in the rafters, figuratively, of course, because, EA took out the whole animation, everything, and the banner going up to the rafters. We are ready to defend our title. Your Stanley Cup champion, the Ottawa Senators, of course, the team for this upcoming season is set. We have finalized it. I've gone through, I've made a couple of changes again, mainly just due to positions like Heiskanen from a right wing to a left wing for the sake of when we go best lines. It'll alter the 4-on-4 lines and stuff like that. But of course, this is the team that we are going with. Heiskanen will start on the top line with Barzal and Gusev, Kotkaniemi with Borgstrom and Denisenko. Third line, Markstrom, Hayton, Zimmerman. Fourth line, Krebs, Vauclair, and Carl. I'm going to start Carl on the fourth line instead to begin this episode. The defense, what you would expect, Colton staying in over Marsh. And, of course, the goaltending, Shesterkin and Taylor Kadri. We have some very solid, healthy scratch options. Defenseman Marsh, more bottom six role Jocelyn, top six role Ronning. In terms of replacements, the AHL team, of course, is also good to go. I'm intrigued to see what some of these guys can do. I've added some more fitting player types for the majority of them as well. So with that, we are pretty much good to go. I mean, everything, every major change that had to happen happened in the last episode. Of course, the big move, Stone, White, and Jost to the LA Kings. But overall, I feel okay with the moves that we've made. They were necessary. Whether or not they proved to be the right moves, whether or not it weakened our team too much in certain areas, time will tell. We are only listed as contenders, but I have a feeling that will change throughout the season. The only thing left to do, of course, would be to name alternates and captains. I mean, I think we're still good to go with Erik Karlsson as our captain, Borgstrom and Barzal as the alternates. And you know what? Screw it. We'll take care of it for the AHL as well. Why the hell not? They're also listed as contenders, which is quite nice. I'll be intrigued to see what they can do, of course, despite having a weaker team than they've had in prior seasons. Which, you know what? Let's have Peltonen as the alternate. Why not? At least on defense. Bowers, that's fine. And let's go with Captain Kravtsov. Alternate Kravtsov. I want Shane Bowers as our captain. Why not? He's gone through a lot with the Ottawa Senators organization. Let's have Captain Shane Bowers down in the AHL. And with that, I do believe we're good to go. Scouting is taken care of. You know what? There's some cleanup work maybe that I should have done prior to starting this episode, but damn it, it's too late now. We're already going. We're already fired up, and I'm not redoing the intro, damn it. So let's go ahead and clear out the trade block. Again, scouting is good to go from last episode. And as far as any contract renegotiations go, or contract negotiations in general, we shall see. We shall see. I think it mainly depends on how well we do this season. Whether or not we look to move somebody if they might not be worth the contract. And keep in mind, injuries are on as well as we kick things off. And we do start off with a 4-2 win over the Blues. We do lose our home opener to the Devils, though, so not a very good banner-raising ceremony there. Let's go ahead and scout out goaltenders for 2 weeks. I think we'll just go the 2-week per strategy for pretty much everywhere we scout out. Very strong start for Belleville. Of course, I say that, and they lose immediately, but, the ups and downs. I swear I thought that was going to be an injury early on. We were somewhat affected by injuries last season. It didn't really kick in until the postseason, of course, where we lost Erik Karlsson for the majority of the run. He came back just in time, though, to enjoy quite a bit of success. We have a week to go here until our first stopping point. Both teams' records have settled down a little bit, but of course we have a long way to go. So 6-5-1 as we reach November 1st, 5-5-1 for the Belleville Sens. Let's sim halfway through November and then maybe take a look at the roster, see who might be struggling early on, and maybe mix and match some options there. No injuries thus far, and I know I'm really tempting fate by saying that, of course, because this game loves to screw with me, but, it's worth pointing out, I would say. So far, so good in terms of staying healthy. And yes, by the way, I do expect Jost, White, and Stone to be at the top three in terms of point scoring, because that's just how it happens We beat Tampa in the home-and-home, 11-5-3 on the season, 6-9-2 for Belleville, so they have slipped up just a little bit. We have played 3 more games than Florida already, and they're still a point ahead, so that's just a tad bit shaky. But let's see what we're dealing with. So Heiskanen has 10 points, 14 for Barzal, and 14 for Gusev. 7 points for Kotkaniemi, 10 points for Borgstrom. All right, so Borgstrom and Denisenko are working relatively well together. Kotkaniemi's struggling just a tad bit. Now, Denisenko can't play center. I know Kotkaniemi can, I know Hayton can. And, of course, our most recent draft pick, Zimmerman, just in case we need options. 7 points for Markstrom, 11 for Hayton, 14 for Zimmerman, not bad. And then the fourth line, 6 points for Krebs, 4 for Vauclair, 4 for Carl. So Kotkaniemi right now, kind of the one guy. It's a little bit concerning considering he's a sniper and he's not exactly doing much offensively. Heiskanen's doing okay too. Like, my backup plan was to reunite Barzal and Borgstrom and Gusev, of course, the top line from last season. Not looking like we're going to have to do that right now. I'll give Kotkaniemi a little bit more time. Mainly to see if he can change the plus-minus around. And actually, well, I hit advanced day. That'll bring us to the Carolina game. I want to take a look at the defense, of course, and the goaltending. So let's take a look. We'll keep the lines the same for the moment. Defensively, Dahlin and Carlson. Yeah, I mean, they're working all right together. Shabbat and Dobson, Reagan and Kaltonen. I know immediately what I'm going to do. Shabbat, Carlson, Dahlin, Dobson. Seems to be the right way to go to break up those two. Kadri has 2 games played, 2 appearances, and he's been brutal thus far. Shesterkin, though, has been what we have come to expect him to be. So, couple of areas of concern, but of course we are still extremely early on into... Wow, that second line is killing it. We are still extremely early into this next season. So we'll give it a little bit more time, and you watch right as we're ready to come to a decision. Bam! 3-month injury. I'm calling it now, damn it. I'm calling it now. Let's sim to December 1st, shall we? Game against the Carolina Hurricanes. 4-1 victory. Not too shabby. Not bad, actually. We have a nice little win streak going right now. I like it. I like what I'm seeing. 2 weeks in OHL for goaltenders. We actually have a decent little point streak going. We have, wow, 9-0 over Buffalo. Let's see here. 2 games left in the month, and there we go. So finally, we lose in regulation. We'll see what happens against Arizona. Back-to-back wins in regulation. So from November 1st to the 27th, the day before the Ducks game, I mean, we had a point streak going. That is very impressive. Back-to-back regulation losses, though. And you know what? Again, let's go middle of the month. We'll give it a little bit more time, just because of the point streak that we had recently been on. Give our players credit for how they are playing at the moment. So we switch over to the queue. Belleville's struggling a little bit. I'm not surprised, given their defense. I might optimize that lineup just a little bit more. Reward performing players, just to try and get that team closer to playoff contention. As the Sens here, not too bad. I was going to say we started drifting a little bit closer to 500 hockey, but we've snapped out of it. 29-5, the midway point of December. We are in first place in the division on the same point pace as the Bruins. Not too bad. And Nikita Gusev is a point-a-game player. Now, Denisenko was signed to pretty much be his replacement. I don't know when Nikita Gusev is going to slow down. He continues to be a monster. First things, though, I actually want to check goaltending first. So Kadri's turned it around, much better from him. Shesterkin's still doing well. So goaltending, not a concern. Defensively, Shabbat and Carlson, still a -3 for Shabbat. Carlson up to 20 points. Carlson and Dahlin definitely working a little bit better to get, or a little bit better away from one another. So that's nice. And then the third pairing is just okay. I'm a little bit worried about Shabbat being a minus player. Maybe I shouldn't be. But admittedly, I am. For that reason, I'm going to give Ian Reagan, the youngster, a chance with Carlson, Dahlin, Dobson, Shabbat, and Kaltonen. Of course, even if we had the morale system on, Shabbat would be fine with that. Again, power play and penalty kill time, that would balance that out. I should actually check those numbers as well. But right there, I mean, those line combos are looking good. Not as good as what we had last year, but they're looking okay. And then forwards, Heiskanen, not too bad. 22 points in 40-something games? 34 games, even better. So 22 points in 34 games for Heiskanen. Barzal right now is, I mean, just doing incredibly well, thankfully. 32 points in 34 games. I forgot how many games we had played. And then, of course, Gusev, point-a-game player, absolute monster. Kotkaniemi, that needs to change. 20 points and 22. So, yeah, Kotkaniemi's not working on that second line. We have Markstrom at 12 points. Hayton's doing well. Hayton and Zimmerman are working very well together. But Markstrom and Kotkaniemi, not quite. So, I mean, obviously, I'm not sure how much of a chemistry system I believe in, but for whatever reason, Hayton and Zimmerman are clearly working somewhat well together. The big thing that they're missing there is a goal scorer on that line. Insert a sniper, you would hope. And we'll bump up Markstrom to play with Borgstrom and Denisenko. For that reason, I'm tempted to change Borgstrom to a sniper, but he still puts up points as a two-way. So we'll see what Markstrom can do there. The big thing about Markstrom, his defensive ability and the 90 offensive awareness. So that's pretty much the major change that we'll make. The fourth line is looking okay. Not a crazy point total from Pascal Carl, so let's give Jocelyn the chance here moving forward just to see what he can do. Of course, he is very much a defense-first player. Pretty good skating, though. Not normally the type of attributes that I'd prefer to have for a player in his role. I'd normally keep that type of guy in the AHL, but because of the just stupid logjam of talent that we have right now, this seems to be the best way to go. So 9 points there. I think pretty much our second line is going to become our first line at this point. It's pretty much looking like what we're going to be doing. The Mironov, 6 points. Malkin, 11. Theodore's killing it. And yeah. All right. So pretty much just our second line becomes our top line. That works. And then defensively, yeah, some people are struggling. No real surprise there. I think I'm going to take out Appel. And we will probably bring in Alavara or Butsayev. And I'm not really sure who. You know what? Maybe we'll give Appel another chance. Let's see. What was he? Minus 12, minus 9. So we'll actually bump up these two. And then let's go Tangrady, Peltonen, Hobby Bullen, and Appel just to spread the wealth a little bit. Goaltenders. Tanev's having a great season. Lance Chow, not so much as the backup. But there we go. Slight changes to both teams at the NHL and AHL level, and we'll see if that can spark a little bit more success, mainly at the AHL level. Of course, the NHL team is still looking pretty good. To January 1st, 2024, we go. Of course, we have to handle the scouting before then. Defense in the queue. See if we can find anybody half decent there. Of course, we are set up very well for the upcoming draft in terms of picks that we have. And again, in terms of re-signing players, what the draft's going to look like, what free agency is going to look like, I don't know. We're in a very good spot in terms of the amount of prospects that we have already. It's not quite rebuilding Hockey Town levels of prospect factory, but, you know, it's close. It's close. We're getting there. We're set up very well right now. 24, 10, and 6. Belleville still under 500. We'll do the same thing. Let's go another 2 weeks. We got a decent amount of games here, and by that I mean 5, and there we go. There's our first injury. Passy Colton. So he'll be replaced by Marsh in the meantime. Start off the month with a couple of wins, and Coltonen is back already. I'm intrigued to see how Marsh did, as he ended up playing with Thomas Chabot. No points and a -1. Well, that's not too promising. Is Chabot still struggling with the plus-minus? He probably is, right? -1. He's up to 10 points, though. Not bad. So Reagan's doing okay again. Hopefully allowing Carlson and Dahlin, opportunity to both put up a decent amount of points is kind of crucial. How's Kotkaniemi doing? Still not well. Still not well. A little bit upset about that. Markstrom's doing okay, though. we do have other options. Not that I want to scratch Kotkaniemi, but there is a chance of that. How's Jocelyn doing? 2 points, or 1 point, a +2. We'll leave him in for now. Definitely keeping an eye on Kotkaniemi now. He was fine last season. He certainly got the job done in that third line role with some of the other players, of course, that were there as well. But so far, of course, giving him a better opportunity as Malkin goes down to injury. Giving him a better opportunity didn't work out all that well. And even now on the third line, he's still struggling somewhat. Let's scout out the US of A for 2 weeks. 27, 12, and 6. Of course, we're already beyond the midway point of the regular season. 60 points in 45 games, so the Bruins are technically on a better point pace. Tampa's on the same point pace, so it's still a pretty close race in the Atlantic right now. We're not getting that crazy amount of separation. Heiskanen with 28 points, 42 for Barzal, 44 for Gusev, so not bad. Heiskanen's lagging behind just a little bit. 20 points for Markstrom, 34 for Borgstrom. So Borgstrom and Denisenko are still doing really well. I almost feel like reuniting, though, Borgstrom, Barzal, Gusev. Because I feel like they'd be alright regardless. Let's see, Kotkaniemi really struggling. So Hayton, Zimmerman. Heiskanen's been okay, though, obviously, with the 28 points. Problem is, if you look at that top 9, everyone but Kotkaniemi kind of deserves that spot right now. Everyone else is at least doing okay. So, what are we going to do? I mean, Krebs, you know, I didn't want to do this, but I think Kotkaniemi is going to have to sit. I still like Peyton Krebs in a more defensive role. So that means that, I don't know if you hear that music. That's Ty Ronning's music. We're going to put Ty Ronning into this lineup for the moment, and we're going to see what he can do. We are going to see what he can do. And I'm probably just going to play him on the off wing. More than likely. Yeah, there's really no other way I could get him onto his preferred hand. So, I'm a little bit nervous about, just the trio of playmakers, but Ty Ronning in on the left-hand side. We're going to give Denisenko a little bit of a break, give him an opportunity to kind of recharge the batteries and maybe see where he's going. And I got to be honest, I think I'm going to sit Thomas Chabot for a couple of games, too. We're going to bring in Marsh and see what happens there. Jocelyn hasn't been doing much, so Carl's coming back in as well. So a couple of changes here. Ronning, Carl, and Marsh in the lineup. A little bit upset about not upset, but a little bit disappointed in some of the numbers that I've been seeing from the now 3 healthy scratches. So we'll give this lineup a little bit of time, pretty much until the end of the month, give them a decent amount of games, and to really see what they can do. So 7 games in total. Let's see what the results end up being, as Pascal Carl is immediately injured. He will be out until just about the end of the month. So, Carl, I gave you the opportunity. Let's go ahead and bring Jocelyn back into the lineup. Congratulations, Barry. You're right back in as we beat Nashville 3-0, lose to the Islanders 4-1, lose to Florida 2-1. We beat Chicago. We lose in a shootout, so not a great run of form there. This will be the Carl healthy notification. The Carl is healthy notification. How's Ronning done so far? 2 points, not bad. Of course, infamous last season, stepped into the lineup and just dominated. While I believe it was Gusev who missed a little bit of time due to injury. We beat Colorado. Not bad. 1 game left this month. We're still not on the best form, but we are doing relatively well still, of course. I don't know. I'm not sure how high I should have my expectations as we beat Columbus in the shootout. 31-14-7. Where are we in the standings? Still in first place. We still have played 3 more games than Tampa, so they're on a slightly better point pace right now. On the same point pace as Boston. Well, slightly below. Gusev is a point-a-game player. I'm a little bit worried about their ability to make up ground. So let's see. Heiskanen, 31 points. That top line's fine. Markstrom isn't exactly killing it. Hayton and Zimmerman. Wow, Zimmerman's up to an 85. Whew. Yeah, you know, again, I envision the future top six as Denisenko, Zimmerman. Yeah. I'm sorry, but Zimmerman's going to get that opportunity already with Markstrom not exactly killing it. Hayton, I am sorry, but hopefully you can work well together with Ty Ronning. That is kind of my main hope at this point. Just not sure who I want to put on that far side. Heiskanen can't really play center either. Gotta wonder if that's too much offensive talent on one line. Denisenko has a better shot. I'm going to put him on the left. So Denisenko, Borgstrom, Zimmerman. That is one hell of a second line. And from there, again, Markstrom, he's not terrible, but those aren't top six numbers. Hayton deserves an opportunity in the top six, you could argue, but I'm just not seeing it. So, oh boy. Ty, we're going to take you out again, give you an opportunity. Or we didn't give you much of an opportunity, but let's bring back in Kotkaniemi. We'll put Markstrom on the right, and we'll see how that third line does. A little bit skeptical. Vauclair with 16 points. You know, let's see. Actually, you know what? Let's go Markstrom, Hayton, Vauclair, Krebs, Kotkaniemi, and Carl. Let's give that an opportunity, or just a test run. Reagan's still doing well where he is. Marsh hasn't done much. We will bring back Thomas Chabot, get him back into the lineup, see what he can do moving forward. Just trying to give some of these guys opportunity if there are some underperforming players. Of course, we have the depth to do it, and as we approach the deadline, we're going to have some decisions to make, of course. Another 2 weeks, not that many games in between now and then. But we'll see, and there's an injury. Nikita Gusev, he's not out for long, but he is still out for a bit. So that is, yet again, that is Ty Ronning's music. It's just the sound of X-Tech wooing over like a framed picture of Ty Ronning. He'll be on the top line for the moment. Could bump up Zimmerman. I will not, at the very least, just to save time. Let's put Ronning there. And like I said, I'm really intrigued to see how that second line does. And just whether or not that's too much offense on one line, so to speak, in terms of the player types. So we lose back-to-back games, make it 3 in a row. Now I'm a tad bit concerned, obviously, that we've lost 3 straight games. Ronning. You at least got another goal, but obviously you are out for Gusev. High-scoring games. It was our defense and goaltending that really let us down in those. I mean, back-to-back 5-4 losses. We lost 4-2, and now it's 4 losses in a row to start the month of February. And we've talked about how prone my teams have been to collapses in the past. It's not looking too good right now, as we only have 2 wins. 2-5 to begin this month. Less than 2 weeks away from the deadline, now at 33-19-7. I can't imagine we're still in first place, and we are not. Wow, we are very much not. Boston and Tampa both on much better point paces. That is a little bit scary. Just a little bit, though. So let's see. Again, liking the point totals that I'm seeing there. But I can't help but wonder, like I mentioned, is it just too much offense? Is it just a little bit too much offense? How's Kotkaniemi doing? Still struggling, of course. He's been dropped by quite a long way. You know what? I'm going to switch these guys back. Let's bring Kotkaniemi back to where he was. Second line. See if he can get it going. And then that third pairing is really struggling. We'll put Chabot back with Karlsson. If he continues to struggle in terms of plus-minus. Now, again, real life plus-minus, not the best stat to judge a talent. But in this game, there's very little that you have to go off of. This isn't like MLB The Show where you can literally see wins above replacement. So we can only go with the little bit of information that we have. And Thomas Chabot's not quite where we want him to be. Can we beat the New York Rangers? Hopefully, they're not that good of a team. Oh my god, we lost again. And again, we are in free fall right now. absolute freak. Jesus, what is going on? We finally snapped I mean, granted, it was only a 5-game losing streak, but what an absolutely horrific month. 34, 21, and 9 on the season, just a few days shy of the deadline. We're still in third, but we are, I mean, by the time the Bruins and Lightning catch up, 3 to 4 games respectively, there's a chance of us being significantly far behind in this race. So, obviously, it's around the deadline. Now's where we have to look at the team and maybe decide, hey, who's worth moving. Now, Sami Heiskanen, not quite what you want on the top line, obviously. 36 points in 64 games isn't terrible, but that's not quite where we want him to be. Barzal, obviously 56 points, not bad. Probably not going to hit the 95 he hit last year. And then Gusev is still killing it. So that's great. I'm happy with those two. A little bit worried about Heiskanen. Kotkaniemi's been awful. Absolutely awful this season. Borgstrom's been great. Denisenko's been pretty damn good, if not great. Markstrom, okay. Hayton, pretty good. Zimmerman, pretty damn good. So really, if we were to go back to a setup similar to this, I wonder how well that would work out. And again, I'm still super worried about Kotkaniemi right now, but we know we have very few trading partners. So we could go Heiskanen, Markstrom, Ronning, Krebs, Vauclair, Carl. Aside from the plus minuses, they're still doing pretty well. Carl hasn't done much, though, on that fourth line. When this seems like the best way to go, what does that really say? Shabbat has 12 points, he's a -8. Erik Karlsson's doing well. Dahlin's doing well. Dobson's okay. Reagan's just okay. Kaltonen, I mean, he's a defensive D-man, so it's not really all that surprising. Goaltending, Shesterkin, he's been above average, but not spectacular. Kadri's been pretty good as a backup. And then as far as the scratches right now, Marsh has 2 points in 9 games. Jocelyn has 1 point in 16. And Kotkaniemi has 13 points in 57 games. Not exactly ideal. So obviously, Kotkaniemi's underperforming to a pretty ridiculous extent. Really, when we look at this team, there's numerous different ways that we could go, right? That top 6 right now, those are our best performers. I think ideally, if we were to be a cup-winning team, we'd still have Zimmerman and Hayton on the third line. Maybe have Heiskanen and Denisenko in a different center. Really sucks that Kotkaniemi's struggling. I mean, of course, the ideal situation was Borgstrom on the second line. We do know, though, just how dominant that top line as it is right now can be. So there are some concerning players. Heiskanen, like I said, has been okay. Markstrom's been pretty good. Boy. We could definitely go about this a couple of different ways. We're still on pace to be a playoff team. That's not really in dispute. I think it would be shocking if we weren't, to make it. There's only 18 games left in the regular season. This team has enough talent to make it. It's just whether or not we keep the team intact as it is and just hope that certain underperforming players turn it around. Again, we're set up well for the draft, but now you consider players on expiring contracts. Borgstrom's the big one. Shabbat, how hefty of a contract are we going to want to hand him? He's looking for $5 million. He hasn't been all that great. Again, I wanted to keep him as, like a Sens original, essentially. He hasn't been that great. Look at what he did last season. And now he's right back down to normal. He's had a couple of good offensive outbursts. He's not on a very good pace right now at all. Barrett, Hayton, Peyton Krebs. I mean, for the most part, that's a manageable situation there as far as the cap goes, with the exception of Kadri going up to a big boy deal. So that could be a little bit harmful. But we do have options. be honest, now is going to be the right time to kind of stop this episode, let you guys get in your feedback as far as what you think we should do, then have the next episode be that, finishing up the regular season and maybe even doing the first round. But of course, just to look again at the draft pick situation right now, Toronto's pick is looking okay. We also have the LA Kings. Goaltending-wise, I mean, needless to say, we have a hell of a bargaining piece there, a bartering piece. We're looking good. Of course, a lot of teams don't have spots. Milroy, I believe, just turned 20. We might be able to sign him, but he'll be here next year because, of course, he will be. There's a lot of different options. I definitely want to take a step back and kind of look at what the best course of action is with this team. If this team is worth keeping together the way it is right now, what do we do with someone like Kotkaniemi? How do we balance out the lines? What line combos do we go with? I'd say that's the biggest question. Do we make trades? If not, what do we do to try and spark this team and get things going again for us, as Mittelstadt has 73 points in 60 games. Good Lord. Good Lord. Good Lord. So guys, with that, I am going to call this episode to a close. Like I said, I want to take a step back, kind of think of all the different options myself, but I also want to hear what you have to say. So let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. You know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, and notification bell, and share, and yeah. Take your dog for a walk. Get the mail so your parents don't have to. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.